And of course, peace and blessings to you. My name is Jere B. I don't usually dress like this, but I am the EntreMusician, and so is Maria. You would remember Maria. She's an incredible EntreMusician herself.
Try every day.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You are looking absolutely fantastic.
That's nice.
You're
Thank
sounding
you.
absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
You got shows coming up.
God
You're
is
just
good.
doing your thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're going to talk about all of that.
Right on.
And kind of pick up from where we did last time we were together.
How long ago was that now? That was a couple months ago.
It was a couple months, but I think we went deep. We went
did.
pretty deep.
I watched the interview a couple of times because I put it up on my website under audio interviews and video interviews.
Yeah.
So we really touched on a lot of stuff, and you didn't edit anything out.
We get deep, go deep. And how much deeper can we go today? We'll try.
We're going to find out.
Right?
Right.
Because, well, we're going to talk about marketing because I know you have something going on with marketing.
We have something going on. Yes,
but
we do.
before we do that, you know what we have to do? We have to do this.
And I like this is good product
This
placement.
is excellent product
Yeah.
placement. And
Okay.
the people at Vocal, they sponsor all of our interviews. And I tell you what, this is the only beverage on the planet designed to soothe, refresh, and restore your voice. If you talk all day like I do or sing all night
It's honey
like
lemon.
Maria does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then you definitely want Vocal. You got to go to drinkvocal.com to learn more. You
And
know,
it tastes good because he gave me one last time I was here.
Yeah.
And it tastes good.
And I have
there's
more.
no calories.
This is the new formula too.
Wow.
Yeah. This is out literally next week.
Ooh, ahead of the game,
Yeah.
Jerry B.
Yeah. Trying to make it happen.
Right on. That's good. So I like this product placement, but we're going to hide this. I'm not doing a commercial.
Yeah, that's
for
coffee.
coffee
you know.
from XYZ.
So is coffee good for the voice?
You know what? A lot of singers believe no, because technically it can dry out your vocal cords. But I'm drinking water all the time, and I swear my voice opens up on coffee.
Is that
Coffee and scotch.
Coffee and scotch.
Scotch also really.
So
I mean, if
the scotch in the coffee. Is what
well,
you're
that's
saying.
even doubly good. I don't put the scotch in the coffee.
Oh, okay. I
I'm
didn't
just
know.
saying when I drink coffee, it really does something. I don't know, opens up my voice, and it's great. It has the same effect that scotch would have. If I've had to sing with a sinus infection, like I've done many of times,
Yeah.
I would start the night off with a little scotch, and it kind of gets me through, clears out all the gunk in your throat.
My wife is a home remedy therapist. You know, she grew up in all her moms and grandparents and all.
Yeah.
They were in the home remedies, and she makes hot toddy. So anytime we get a cold, she like burns the whiskey and puts the orange juice and the honey.
Right.
and
Oh,
lemon
that's
in
a
it,
real hot toddy.
And it's like.
Yeah. See, now sometimes if I'm doing a hot toddy, I'll do brandy and hot tea.
Ah.
And that's good. Really good.
Well, you and Lori ought to trade like
Yes.
recipes one day.
Right
You know,
on.
she keeps us very healthy.
Yeah.
But right now, Vocal.
Vocal. Now I wonder if you mix that with alcohol.
Oh,
and
my
you've
goodness.
really got vocal elixir.
I gotta talk to Jere about that.
Yeah.
The owner of the company. So,
Right on.
Mr. Thompson, we'll see what you think about. This will be they'll have Maria Jacobs.
The Maria Jacobs endorsement. Scotch in one hand and vocal in the other.
So, what's been happening since the last time we talked?
Gosh, got a new CD out.
All right.
Yeah,
Let's talk about it.
Okay. So we have a compilation disc.
Uh-huh.
It's my 7th album, and this is a compilation of my first 6. So there's 24 tracks,
Oh, my.
12 on each disc. It's a double disc. And there's one new single. It's called Hold On Your Heart. So we called the record Hold On Your Heart. And you know what's really interesting? iTunes, nobody downloads entire albums on iTunes or on Amazon. Nobody ever
singles.
does it. So my distributor was like, there's no reason to put that album up on iTunes because all the songs are present on your first 6 records, which is true. So we released the single that I wrote called Hold On Your Heart, and the street date was just this week. It was March 1st.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's up on all the portals. It's up on iTunes and Amazon, and it's on my YouTube, and it's on Spotify, which we talk about. I know. First thing
Spotify.
my photographer said when I walked into the studio to get the headshots for the album, are you on Spotify? And I said, there's a thing for Jerry B. I know it has its downfalls, but the fact is everybody I know who meets me as an independent artist, first or second question out of their mouth is, can I find you on Spotify? So
I'm not going to say anything.
well,
you know,
we all
I mean,
know. We all know. Thanks to Taylor Swift, we all know what the deal is. We all know what the deal is.
But your ability to attract as many followers and fans as you have is an asset to being on Spotify, because people who listen to your music or who are even curious about your music can find you there because that's where they are.
You know, I think the theory is they got to find you and know who you are before they can pay you. So
that's true.
I kind of think that as an independent artist, I think one of the plights you have to have is the fact that, you know, I've got a couple gigs coming up in some real nice clubs. And first I should give the props. I didn't come up with the brainstorm for the compilation disc.
Who did that?
My friend and a former guitar player, Jim Karoff, he's the one that paid for the radio promotion, God bless him, that put Pour Me a Cup of Yesterday on the map. We were on stations, like 200 smooth jazz stations across the country, and we had some action on the Groove Jazz charts. I was like in the top 20 in the Groove Jazz charts for a couple of weeks, So that was nice. So he comes to me one day and he's like, you know, it's great that you're writing all this new stuff, but you've got all this old stuff that you're neglecting. And I said, well, I mean, you know, one given night, 2.5 hours of music, I'm not going to do 100 songs. So I've got a lot of material that, he's right, doesn't get heard all the time. So he said, let's do a compilation disc. I'll pay for it. And I was like, whoa, that's not something you hear every day, and you definitely don't turn it down. So he's like, listen, you sing, I'll sell. And those are 4 words every singer wants to hear. Yeah. So he's got, we talked about this last time.
So is this the marketing strategy that you've been involved in?
Yeah, he's hoping that the more people see it and listen to it, and I wrote a blurb in the liner notes about what the record's about and why. Yeah. So, you know, we're just kind of hoping that people, they kind of glance at it, they listen to a few tracks or all the tracks, and they mostly read about why I did the record like I did it. So it's I think it's a great marketing. It's like a marketing campaign of a grassroots nature, you know.
Now here's the most important question of the interview. Yeah. Are you ready for it? You gotta look in the camera. Did you bring one to the EntreMusician?
They're not done yet. They're not done yet.
Okay.
But I will mail you one. I will mail you one.
That's an important question.
I know.
Wow, this is a great marketing strategy, but I'm
not even up.
One in my hand.
Well, no, I know. It's not even up on my website yet. So it's a little tiny bit early. So we're gonna hopefully have them for a couple gigs that are coming up. So and we're gonna be giving away EPs. So you know, I know that this kind of runs.
How many tracks on the EP?
3. The 3 that got the biggest push: Pour Me a Cup of Yesterday, What If, and Hold on Your Heart, the title. Excellent. Yeah, so we're going to be putting those in people's hands like hotcakes. Nice to meet you. Here's a CD.
So for the radio promotion tour, you know, what do you have set up? Do you have any situation set up whereby you'll be doing some live dates in the radio studios? That's a great idea. I mean, I would love, obviously, to kind of get together with the Wave and maybe do a little bit of an interview. You know, they just played an interview that they did with me a while back for Black History Month in February. They asked me questions about, you know, who's your favorite Black history artist, and of course I talked about Ella Fitzgerald. So it'd be nice to hook up with them again. And I haven't even knocked on Mark Ribben's door yet about that, so that's premature. But I've got, you know, working at the Bop Stop, working at a great club in Columbus called Copious Notes. Oh my! So getting out there, you know. Then I go to LA every year in the fall. So and to perform.
Yeah,
that's excellent.
You know what's interesting is there's gigs at places you would never expect. You know, the Giant Eagle Market District. Yeah, those little cafe bar areas where you can go. You can take your dry cleaning, order a beer, have a salad, and shop for milk at the same time, and listen to jazz. So I'm going to be there coming up. I got a little Midwestern tour going on right now.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be at all of the Giant Eagles?
Just one in Cuyahoga Falls right now.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, they have one close to us in Liberty. They have the same little cafe.
Right on.
Type of setup.
It's actually a really groovy hangout. I did the one in Strongsville a couple years ago, and it's nice. People, they actually listen more in Giant Eagle than they do in some jazz clubs.
It's amazing. We did a Borders tour. This is 150 years ago.
Borders.
But when Borders was up, and you know, we came up to, you know, Cuyahoga and all of those. I think there were like 3 locations surrounding Cleveland. Yeah. And we did this little Northeast Ohio tour, and it was great. Did one Western PA.
Borders was a hip gig. I released my first record, No Frills, playing at the borders in areas where I could.
Did you get any of the cappuccino machines happening in the background?
I don't remember that. Don't remember that. I mean, I've had that happen in clubs. Right. Sure, the espresso machine is grinding away when you're in the middle of a tender ballad, right?
A real nice slow groove.
Right.
And here it is. Hey, but the people need their order.
They got it. You know what? If they weren't buying stuff to drink and eat, we wouldn't be there. So you gotta take the good with the bad.
That's fantastic.
And that's the plight of an entree musician.
That's it. That's it. But you do it well. You wear it well. You sing it well.
Thank you.
You are the consummate entree musician. I mean that. Look,
Thank
my nose
you.
is brown enough. I don't have to say anything I don't mean. You know what I mean?
That's nice. Thank you.
Following your career and hearing about this compilation and seeing your calendar blow up on your website.
It's happening.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Now here's the thing, because on the EntreMusician we talked about this, is because we want to make sure that our videos, no matter when people see them, whether they see them today or 2 years from now,
they're
it's
current.
always relevant
Right.
to them. But there are a few important dates that you have that you have to plug.
Yeah, thank you.
And so, like, if you're watching this 2 years from now, you missed
Can't
it.
go back. We'll give you the year.
Yeah.
So you want to know the dates?
I want to know, but I want to know those ones that you told me, and they're super special.
They are special, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So I'll be at Copious Notes in Columbus on South High Street this coming Friday, March 8th. We start at 9 and we go.
What's the year?
2009. We're 2019.
There you go.
So we're going to be there on March 8th, and here's the huge blessing. So I wanted to use guys that were in Columbus instead of dragging them from Cleveland and having them stay overnight and all of that. Yeah. So I'm working with 3 players. Talk about full circle. I cut my teeth with these guys as a young 20-year-old wanting to go out and sing jazz for the first time. I'd go to jam sessions. I'd sit in with them. I got a couple jazz gigs, but back then you didn't get paid to sing jazz unless you were kind of established already. Right. So you cut your teeth in jam sessions, or you'd go to gigs and other singers would be generous and they would let you sit in, and that was how I cut my teeth. They weren't always paid gigs early on. That's the jazz scene, right? Yeah. So I'm working with Stan Smith on guitar, Doug Richardson on bass, and Jim Rupp on drums, and collectively their resumes, they back Tony Bennett, they back Diane Shore, they've done it all, and it's literally 30 years later it's come back around, and we're going to work together at this club.
Tell me the story of how you got together. How did it become full circle? It wasn't just I
called them.
Just like that.
I called them up, and I've been trying to get into notes for a little while, and Stan was the first one I called because he's there, and I told him, you'd be who I would call for this gig. Do you know anybody there? And he's like, not really. He goes, you might want to try this person. So I tried this person, and then this person told me to try this person, and then I sent out some emails, and I sent some MP3s, and a couple months later I got an email. We have some dates coming up. Would you like to pick one? And they asked for my press kit, my electronic press kit, which is great. My press kit I got.
Now you'll save money because you'll do the compilation.
Right on. Yeah. So I called Stan and I said, let's do this gig. And he was into it. So I said, I'd like to have Doug. I used to sit in with Doug Richardson. So he goes, okay, well, here's Doug's number. So I called Doug. And Jim Rupp came to town, and he was playing for the Jazz Heritage Orchestra, who I also sing with. Oh, my. So I saw him, and, we kind of rubbed shoulders again. So when I called him, it wasn't 30 years out of the blue. It was just a couple of months. So, so he decided that he would do it, which is generous, very generous of them to come after 30 years. So,
are you going to record this performance?
That's a great question. I don't know if they have recording devices at Notes, but I was going to look into that and maybe do a little live feed, have somebody hold up the phone.
Sure. Yeah. But better to savor the moment and be able to release it. Obviously, you would want to enter into some agreement, I guess, with these 3 gentlemen.
Yeah, that's a good question too. And you do like to check with them before you go ahead and put their work all over the place. Yeah. Sure. But that's a great segue, because maybe you can make it to March 31st, 2019 at the Bob Stop. That's actually, we're releasing the record Friday, but here in Cleveland with my home bodies, we're gonna kind of have the official CD release at the Bop Stop, and there I have Rock Wehrman on piano and Aiden Plank on bass and Mark Gonder on drums. They're like my go-to here in Cleveland, and they're they played for everybody, and they're monster musicians. I'm just really blessed.
Yes, you are.
That I can work with these cats.
Absolutely. And they're blessed too.
Isn't that nice?
That they can work with you.
I hope so. I hope they feel that way. I do.
No, that's the truth. I'm sure they do.
Well, I think guys like this, they don't have to play for anybody. You know what I mean? They've kind of made their mark, so I think they play with who they would like to play with.
I would venture to say if we were to ask them that question, they would disagree a little bit, because the thing about it is, yes, they've made their marks and they've done their thing, but they still have that passion for music.
Yeah.
And they still have that passion for gigging with great people. Yeah. And you are one of those great people.
Right on. Thank you.
It's the truth. Again, brown nose, no. No need to do that.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
So, what does the summer of 2019 look like for?
Hopefully, some recording. I'm in the middle of, I've recorded 2 Christmas tunes that have been on EPs.
You sent me one.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought it should have came out this past Christmas.
Well,
it was around Christmas when you
around
sent
that time. It was actually, closer to Christmas. The song was the ending of Lucky Girl record, album number 6. And then Every Day is Christmas. That came later, so I created a little 2-song EP to give out at Christmas time, and now I've recorded a song that I've written. I've written both of those, and I've recorded another one called Emmanuel, and so that's a Christmas song. And here I'm also a musician friend of mine who I studied with at Kent, Chaz Baker. He's like, you should be writing your own big band charts, and I was like, whoa. And now that's an area that would really be new to me, but he lit a fire under me. So now I spend a couple hours a week. I go to Kent. Yeah. And I sit in the computer room with a MIDI keyboard, and I'm writing out parts for saxophone and trumpet and trombone on Emmanuel, this song. So I'm hoping that by Christmas I ought to be able to have a big band chart that a big band could perform. It's a new mountain to climb that I would have never thought of. So there you go.
That's the EntreMusician spirit right there.
Yeah.
When you tackle new challenges because they're there.
Right. It's just, why climb Mount Everest?
Now, what software are you using? Another product placement?
Yeah, so let me back up just a little bit. The reason I'm at Kent working on it is because I'm an adjunct professor now at Kent. So I teach applied vocal jazz, and I co-teach the Nova Jazz Singers with Dr. Chris Vanessel, who was integral in bringing me in.
Yeah.
Nice, right?
Wow.
So Bobby Salvaggio is the head of the Jazz Studies Department, and he was like the final say in taking me through the channels to see if I could get brought on and hired. And I was. So it's growing. I doubled the hours that I'm private teaching from fall to spring. And then in the next fall, 2019, we're going to be adding a vocal jazz choir, and that's going to be all mine. So everything is just blossoming. So as a faculty member, I can go in, I can work on a huge Mac, half the size of that big screen that you've got there. So it's pretty big. Yeah. And I use the Sibelius program.
Sibelius, okay.
So honestly, I'm fumbling around with Sibelius, and it's not easy because you think you have a note here, and then you go to put the next one there, and suddenly you have a bunch of rests. And I don't know why that happened that way. I have no idea. So I'm fumbling around with my phone, and I'm Googling how do you make a quarter note on Sibelius, and then it'll come up with this tutorial, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. How do I do a first ending and a second ending? Press L, click here, and then put it where you want it. I mean, it seems like it's easy enough, but it's really... It's not easy, so I'm kind of fumbling, but
that's beautiful.
It's not bad. I have 16 bars of the big band chart done, and I have one tune that I've written called "Losing You" that I'd like to play at the piano on these gigs coming up. So, so I wanted a real nice chart in case they wanted to play along with it, so that they could read it. And it's there's a learning curve on Sibelius, as with Finale. Yeah. And did you know to license one of those programs, it's like $600?
Oh yeah, we're not playing around. Yeah.
I don't understand how that can be, but whatever. So
you want to talk about Spotify or no? Let's just keep going.
We can get there.
No, I was joking because it takes money. That's what you told me in the last interview. Yeah. She said it takes money to make money, Jere.
Well,
and I was like, excuse me, I didn't have a timeline, but I had to do that.
Not a secret, is it? I mean, come on. I have a keen awareness for the obvious. Yeah. You do. I mean, nobody's paying for my records, and except for this compilation disc.
Yeah.
Jim came through. But all 6 up to that point, those were all funded by myself. So you end up putting more into it than you get out of it early on as an independent musician. Unless, nice work if you can get it, you're making as much profit as you put in. But I don't know many entre musicians, I don't know many independent artists who are making their nut and then some back.
Yeah.
You know, I had this conversation with another musician friend of mine, and he's like, how do you do this? Don't you put your own money in for this stuff? And I said, yeah, I do. And, you know, at the end of the year, I have 4 different revenue streams. This is very entre musician.
It is.
ASCAP, Sound Exchange, Song Trust, which is a big one, and then my physical distributor of the CDs.
Gotcha.
So at the end of the year, I've made a couple $100s for the entire year. Downloads, physical sales, all of that stuff. Now, if it's a typical year and I'm doing okay, got a full-time job, I've put in more than a couple of $100s to make the record. But here's the thing that you have to keep in mind is you're on radar. If Song Trust is sending you checks, if Sound Exchange is sending you checks, you're in the system. And it's hopefully just a matter of time before more people know who you are and start downloading.
Now, where are you at? That's not even proper grammar. Where are you on licensing? Have you entered into the licensing?
So, yeah, I have a licensing company in LA, which was ironic. They found me. They came to me because of CD Baby. Because at the time I was with CD Baby. I'm not anymore. I have my own distributor, but I was on CD Baby, and when they release a new record, they put it up, like on their website, you see a scroll, these new releases. And that was a jazz record, Chasing Dreams, and the title track enticed them to get in touch with me. It was a jazz tune about coming home. Chasing Dreams was actually about coming home, ironically enough. So they contacted me and they said, you know, we could probably place your stuff. So I signed a contract with them that's non-exclusive. So you can do other things. But you know, it's a 50-50 split. Whatever the job is, you split it with them 50-50. So, but that's it's typical of all licensing companies. It's really not unlikely.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I'm played throughout the UK in some stores, you know, where they have the piped in music. So a couple of my songs, Chasing Dreams and Loneliness, a song I wrote from the Free as a Dove record, R&B record, that gets played. And, you know, he submits me closer to Christmas. Came really close to getting into a Hallmark movie for Christmas.
Is that right?
Yeah,
excellent.
It did. I mean, close, but no cigar. But whatever.
That
I mean,
was
he submitted me,
year.
and right. He'll put me out there for things, and you know, sometime I'm going to be sending him "Hold on Your Heart," which is hopefully something that he'll also want to submit. So yeah, there is getting these people to take you on. That's like a feat in itself. So that's a win.
Yes, it is.
But actually getting placed in film and television, that's something that hasn't happened yet. But you're out there, you know.
Well, for this year, 2019, that's something that I'm going to be, you know, diving more headlong into.
Yeah.
As far as individual songs and making deals with independent filmmakers, that has been one great foundation that I'm laying.
Yeah.
The other is with taking the songs apart.
Yeah.
Because I was told that, well, you know, you are thinking the 2-track, the stereo master, boom, 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 it's going to be, you know, these many bars or the whole song.
Yeah.
But if you take the stems and this guy wants the string section.
Yeah.
This guy wants just that chord progression that was happening because, you know, they're driving or whatever they're doing. Yeah. You know, begin to break the song down.
So there is a company that I submitted, and they wanted one of my songs. It was actually a co-write that I did with Tommy Coster, who's a platinum record producer. He co-produced and wrote The Real Slim Shady with Eminem.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote with Santana the theme song for the smooth jazz that Europa.
Oh, wow.
So he contacted me and wanted to write a song for a friend. So the song ended up the title track to Lucky Girl, which was a huge windfall. That was great. Got to work with Tommy, got to use it, and so I submitted that song to Crucial Music. You heard of them?
I haven't.
Well, you can go to Crucial, you can submit your stuff, but here's the thing that they don't tell you right up front. They take your licensing. I mean, they take your publishing for that one song. And something else. There was
when
another.
You say
there was
take
another.
Your publishing, meaning that they just
got the publishing,
receive the royalties from the publishing, or they now own the copyright to the song.
They don't own the copyright. They receive the publishing for the song.
So they become the Pseudo Publishers at that.
They kind of
at that
become the
point.
administrator of that song. Yeah.
Not for the standard 15%, but for 100% of the publishing.
Pretty sure that's what it was.
And
I'm pretty sure.
They don't tell you that up front. Is that what
No.
you're saying? Okay.
No, they didn't tell me that up front. I asked them because I heard that they take my licensing company. I was double checking with them to make sure that it was all right to submit through another company. They go, yeah, it's not exclusive. You can do what you want. Well, but watch out for Crucial because they take your publishing. And I thought, interesting. So I asked her, when you send me the contract, in there somewhere does it say that we get your publishing? And they wrote back to say, yeah, we get your publishing for that song for the time period that it's used. So I said thanks, but don't send me the contract because I'm not going to go down that road. I mean, Crucial might work for some people. It's not going to work for me. But anyway, so that didn't happen.
There are some software companies now that I think Propeller Heads might be one, and I use Reason a lot.
Yeah.
And there's another one that I can't quite think of, Maria, which they have these open network collaborations. So if you use their software, and Joe Smith from Germany uses their software and whatever, and you guys collaborate because it's on their server, even though it's your collaboration, they own it.
Read the fine print.
Isn't that crazy?
Read the fine
print.
print.
And I thought, if I'm collaborating, and so it's nothing stopping me from getting online and working with anyone I want to, as long as we are trading files the way we want, as long as it's off their server.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So why would you do it? Why would you use their particular software to collaborate with someone? I mean, they make it easy for you to do because it's an open portal.
But they get something out of it.
No, they don't get something. They get your tune. It's crazy. That's their, because it's on their server.
I heard that they can download, this might just be total rumor, but I heard once that if a film or television show wants to use your song, and they don't go through a licensing company, they can pay for 99 cents for it on iTunes and use it in their film. And that's allegedly, I don't know for sure, but that's allegedly they can do that and it's legal.
Well, not if you got a good team of people behind you, because if they're using your music, I don't care if they bought it, that's still your music. I mean, BMI ASCAP would have a problem with that.
Right.
They would have, because
I want to do more research into that, honestly, because it seemed a little far-fetched, but a valuable source was kind of telling me that was the case. I don't know if it's true.
I would still do research on that.
A lot of research.
I mean, how much? I mean, why aren't they doing that then? If that's the case,
on
they
everybody,
can just do it all the time.
That sounds like the kind of thing they would pull with an indie artist who doesn't have a team.
Well,
that's for the next interview. We're going to do our research.
Well, I mean, we're going deep, though. We're going deep here because now, let me tell you, the way that we were able to get the windfall we did on the Weather Channel. I didn't even know it was being played. I mean, they have the Weather Channel, at least then, and this is 2006 through 2010. They had a blanket license with BMI. So anything in the BMI catalog, they could pull and play on the Weather Channel.
And they didn't have to pay you?
Oh, they paid us.
Oh, good.
But, but what I'm saying is, I still didn't know it was being paid. I mean, people, were traveling or they, hey, we just heard your song on the Weather Channel. I'm thinking, come on,
and you didn't know.
Didn't know. But I did call up Carol Easterling. Hi, Carol. From BMI. And she was like, oh, yeah, she says, this is cool. She said, and, you'll get your quarterlies. And it was like really great. And I'm like, that's ASCAP and BMI. They can come through for you. Absolutely. So what I'm saying, going back to piggyback on the TV thing, if they're combing the stations, which they should be doing, TV, radio, and then movies, music supervisors and whatnot have to file. How could a TV station just go, unless there's some cable station from Podunski, I don't know. Well, I mean, how do I know that something's not getting played in Podunki, Idaho? You know what I mean? True. How would I know if at 3 a.m. one of those little tiny stations out in the boondocks somewhere is playing my stuff? And that the typical line from ASCAP and BMI, when Pour Me a Cup of Yesterday was getting a lot of airplay on the way. Mark Ribbons played Pour Me a Cup of Yesterday
Right, him, Richard Greer. I mean, they were playing. Give him some love. They were playing "Pour Me a Cup of Yesterday" before I had the radio promotion, so it was getting a couple spins a day for a while there. And so I called ASCAP and I said, where's my quarterly report? I haven't gotten anything, and I'm getting a lot of airplay. And their exact words, which I understand they tell all independent artists, it's not how often you're played; it's how often you're played when we're listening and monitoring the station.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so you can be played at 3 a.m. over here and over here and over here, and if that's not a window that they're listening,
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not going to pay you.
Yeah.
How do you police something like that? Yeah. How do you know what window they're listening to?
You have to have
and does Taylor Swift have this problem with ASCAP? But why is she the one we keep going to?
She has a better team.
Well, I mean, a big star who's getting played a lot. Right. I think ASCAP and BMI probably doesn't ignore them. I'm guessing.
No, of course not. Yeah. I mean, wow. Oh boy, we can go even deeper. Okay, so it's one thing to have a original, and it's a blessing when stations are playing your original music
right on
without a promotion. Of course they're going to do it with promotion, obviously,
yeah.
but because that's paid, they better that's pay to play. Anyway, I think my theory is that any band, any artist has a much better time with a cover tune because of the interesting relationships that a lot of radio stations, especially the conglomerates, have with the music publishers.
Yeah.
That it's already in their repertoire that if a Sound Doctrine or Maria Jacobs or whomever, Victor Samalot, is playing a cover tune, they're more apt because they've already got that pipeline situation going. So
well, I covered at least half of the Hold On Your Heart compilation is original with me, but the ones, there's some pop and jazz classics that really spoke to my heart, and those were recorded on several records, and they made it to the compilation disc. I go through easy song licensing, and they're married to Harry Fox, right? So you can, it's totally legal.
Correct.
And I mean, if a lot of songs are covers, it does get a little pricey, but for the most part, it's reasonable. And most of my stuff is original anyway. Sure. So, but the artist has to do their due diligence, and they've got to go through those channels. That way, a radio station can play their stuff, and there's not going to be an issue.
That's what makes you an EntreMusician. I mean, look, I'm not blowing smoke. The whole thing about it is you have to do due diligence. If you're not, it's not just about, hey, I love these songs. We're going to record them, whether they're cover or original, and we're just going to put it out. There's a lot more that has to go into it, and there's a lot of research, there's a lot of paperwork, and there's knowing how to talk to the radio promoters to even get you the campaign that you need to get on deck.
So I had a little windfall I'm going to tell you about.
All right.
So when you Google Maria Jacobs, I come right up. And that placement is great, but sometimes there's different things. Sometimes you see my website right away, sometimes my Facebook music page, sometimes a video from YouTube. Then there'll be like a list of the records that I've put out where people can click and it'll go to Spotify or wherever. Great. I've got a great optimization on Google.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened. Just a nice little windfall somehow, some way. So I'm looking around to see what new stuff is now present when you Google Maria Jacobs. And I'm not the only Maria Jacobs that's out there that's a singer and a songwriter. So there's others.
What?
But
There's another Maria? What?
I know. Anyway.
I don't believe you.
And we actually communicated once. She actually contacted me and said, "Hi, Maria Jacobs. I'm Maria Jacobs." And we had this little conversation.
And where's she from?
I don't remember that.
We're not plugging her.
No.
Excuse me.
We're going to cut that. But the funny thing was she wanted to know how to separate us on Spotify. Because when you went to Maria Jacobs, before my distributor got in there and made it happen for me, she was noticing that she would come up and I would come up in the same place. And we wanted to separate us out, and she didn't know how to do it. And I told her, I'll talk to my distributor. I'll see what we can do as far as that goes. My distributor went in there, made it happen. Now you can find Maria Jacobs, my own personal page, on Spotify, which is great.
And what happened to her?
I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, it was just cute that she would reach out to me,
But now she's no more.
I think I'm thinking she's got a page. It's just not with mine, you know. She wants to be her own.
People are like, where are you?
I think she's probably got a page. That's my guess. So anyway, I digress.
So how do we get to you? What is that? So is that iTunes? Is that what you said?
iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora.
And you're only going to
all of
get
them.
one Maria Jacobs, the one we know and love.
We hope, God willing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm clicking around on Google, and it says IMDb Maria Jacobs. And I was like, that's International Movie Database. You can create your own playlists on IMDb.
Yeah.
So if I want to know, I don't know, if I want to know Meryl Streep's latest movie or who was the production crew on Meryl Streep's latest movie, you go to IMDb. Anything you want to know, cinematographers, writers, directors, actors, makeup artists, music supervisors, music composers, whatever you want to know about a film or an actor or any of these people that work on films or television, it's all on IMDb.
Yeah.
So I click, and it takes me to a page on IMDb where Maria Jacobs, composer, So This Is Love. So friends of mine in LA were doing an independent film, which also became a television program, about an older couple that goes through all kinds of marital issues. It's cute, very cute movie. Jody Jarris and Jack Donner, good friends of mine, especially Jody, who helped me out a lot when I was getting things together in LA, another story. So they asked me to write the theme song. So I wrote the theme song for So This Is Love, and now I have a presence as a film composer on IMDb. And that's not even all. I did a student film at Kent State in 2011. So I'm not putting anything into the actor side of me, which we can talk about because I know you're an actor too. So I'm not really reaching out in that part of my art.
Yeah.
It is a part of my art, but that's a whole nother full-time gig that I'm not putting time into right now. But I made this student film, as it were. I played a very quirky character that was like obsessed with her hamster. Her name was Jean, and it was, I mean, to be an actress, that's what I would want. I would want all the quirky little nutty kind of characters where you can really put your character hat on. So anyway, that's the part that I played. So I clicked on that, and it says Maria Jacobs, known for an actress in Research the Musical. That's the name of the musical. And I thought, I did not put anything on IMDb, but the people that created these films, they were kind enough to include me so that I could have a presence. So it's just this new talent pool that I've never been part of before, that I'm part of now.
Right.
So hopefully when somebody is looking for music composers for film and television, maybe I'll pop up. And maybe they'll give a listen to my website and see my bio and ask me to write a song for their film. Which I would be happy to do if you're watching.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have your website up on the screen anyway.
Great.
But here's what I want to ask you. With respect to that, the last time we were together, you were talking about your niece introduced you to this big spiderweb thing. Yeah. Couldn't you connect to the IMDb on that?
That would be a great idea, actually.
You know what I mean?
I haven't done
What's
that.
It called?
It's called Linktree.
Linktree. Yeah.
LINKTR.com, linktree.com. So I went there and I put in my website, my Facebook personal page, my Facebook music page, Spotify, iTunes, every link I could remember that gives me a home on the web somewhere. Yeah. You just click on my URL, which is linktree.com/Maria Jacobs Shaber. Okay. Because it goes through the platform of Instagram. So my login for Instagram is Maria Jacobs Shaber. Okay. Right, that's how they recognize me.
I see.
So I used that for Linktree. So if you go to linktr.com/Maria Jacobs Shaber, SCHABER, then you'll find every single one of my portals.
I'll make sure that's in the description box as well. Yeah. To make sure that people see everywhere you are. Because that film composer and the acting that you did, I mean, that's only going to expand your platform.
And that's the EntreMusician way. We're all trying to explore expand our platform so that you pop up when people are doing searches. That's why they ask for keywords when you put your stuff up on places, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you are really the consummate musician. You are. I mean, you know. I'm grateful to not only know you as a fellow musician, but to know you as a friend, and to
Thank you.
I respect your artistry.
Thank
I respect your work ethic. I'm so jazzed about the teaching gig that you have now. I mean, that's wonderful.
We could go on for another 2 hours about that. Here's selfishly what's happening is I'm becoming a better singer, a better improvisational artist, and a better piano player. I in teaching, necessity is the mother of invention. So when I'm sitting down and I'm playing for my students and I want them to scat and improvise, we go through, we do guide tones and we do chord tones, and we get them singing the thirds and the sevenths of these 2/5 progressions, which happen throughout all these standards. Some tunes, All the Things You Are, Joy Spring, 6 or 7 different key centers, right? Anyway, so we get them doing that, and for me, I know as a singer, it helps to hear more than just chords being played. So I started walking a bass in the left hand, and they started opening up and improvising more. So I am just kind of becoming a little bit of a better piano player, and the next big mountain for me to climb is to go out and do a solo gig where I'm playing piano, walking a bass line, singing and scatting, playing my original songs, playing standards. That is my next mountain to climb. I am terrified to go out and play piano and sing. I am. I don't really think I'm a great piano player.
But you're going to break through that wall.
I'm a functional piano player, and I do want to break through the wall. So at these gigs coming up at the Bop Stop and at Notes, Copious Notes 2019, you will find me at the piano playing and singing on a couple different songs. I also break open my flute, and I play on an original song and on a Chick Corea tune called You're Everything. So trying to be the well-rounded EntreMusician. That is
not trying to be. You're doing your thing. That's absolutely for sure.
And you got to give props to the man upstairs, because God has blessed me to do these things, and at the end of our life, He's going to tell you. He's going to ask you, what did you do with the gifts that I gave you? So, I don't want to keep anything under the rug.
That's right.
Right. You want to put your stuff out there, let people know how God has blessed you in many ways, musically and in personal ways also, but musically, I didn't come upon this gift by myself. No. This was something
entrusted to you.
Yeah, He put this on my heart, and He's not going to put anything on your heart that you're not going to go after. That's right. So
that's absolutely correct.
So there it is. Got to give God the glory. Right?
You have to.
Yeah.
It's amazing, this life. The reason I'm dressed this way is because I attended a funeral of a gentleman who would have been 90 next month. And he lived a full life, and everyone who stood up at his service to give him tribute this was not a life that was wasted in any way. I mean, every minute. Ray McCauley is his name. He, like a sponge, just squeezed out everything. Yeah. And that's inspiration for us. Yeah. Although he was a music lover, but he was not a musician. Yeah. But everything that he could find that he wanted to do, that he had a passion for, from mechanics to acting, to writing, to he just went for it. Yeah. And that's the way I see you.
Well, if we're going to live to 90, it's got to be that we're making music along the way. Those New Orleans jazz musicians that can't stand up straight, but they sit down, and when it comes time to play, boom, they come to life. That's right. And that's, no artist, no musician, no actor, no singer, no dancer. Nobody wants to be without their craft while they're in this life. Absolutely. We kind of live for it. Oh, yeah. And it keeps us going.
It's all I know to do. And even though I pastor at a church, I think this is just as much of my ministry as pastoring. Yeah. It really is, because
music
this
is integral, right? And in the church setting, music is integral. Have you ever gone to a church service where there was no music?
Yes, as a matter of fact, but there was singing. There was no music.
Well, that
particular denomination didn't believe in instruments,
right?
But there was singing.
So there's still music. Singing is music. I just think it's very difficult. And I've never been in a church atmosphere. I've been in a lot of church atmospheres, raised Catholic, but have been privy to, because of my music, I've been privy to Christian faith practices that have been, huge blessings. Sang and worshiped with Lafayette Carthon and Faith for 5 years. And that was just, I mean, it was a huge blessing. It was a chance to be in a charismatic Pentecostal-like environment,
Right.
you know, and for a Catholic girl from the west side of Cleveland, that was a culture shock that was just, I mean, it was beautiful. You know, it was great.
Step through a veil.
Yeah, right.
Understood.
Right.
Understood.
Very nice.
Well, this is Maria Jacobs.
Right.
She is the EntreMusician. I'm still learning, okay, and trying to be one. But if I keep on her coattails, I'll get it one day. But what is the last question that you wished I would have asked you and I didn't ask? What was
Last
that?
time? I think you really were very thorough. I think you covered it all last time. I can't think of anything.
We still left enough for the next interview.
For the next, right. We left enough for this, I think.
Yeah, so this is happening, but then you're going to do some research and then we're going to come back. And maybe I'll come to Cleveland and hang out at your digs and bring my cameras with me and we can do that.
I would love that.
What do you think?
I would love some.
Okay.
I would love some.
Make that happen?
Love some video action at the Bop Stop. That'd be great.
Well, that's next week. That's not this Friday.
That's May. That's
the
March,
31st.
March 31st, end of the month.
Well, did Gabe book that gig?
Gabe Pollock, God bless him.
Yeah.
Yes,
maybe,
he did.
Maybe you could. I'm gonna really try to make that happen.
Great.
Okay. If I can bring a camera, would you ask Gabe?
I'll ask him. Sure, I will. Absolutely.
Maria Jacobs.
Hi.
The EntreMusician. And so are you.
And so are you.
Peace and blessings to
right
you.
on.
Vocal.
Another product placement. Vocal. I'm going to hit him up
Always
to give me
vocal.
one. I've been talking for what, an hour now? An hour. I'm really needing some of this. I'm really needing some of this.
She's gonna get some.
I'm gonna hit him up. I'm gonna hit him up to go with my coffee.
That's right.
From the place that will not be disclosed.
That's not a good taste.
They can pay me to promote themselves.
Well, vocal, yes, she wants, but the coffee.
Coffee.
Good.
They can.
Peace and blessings.
Peace out. Thank you. Bye.